pretty special season, of course. The team was coming off winning back-to-back NCAA titles in 2005 and 6. Anna Grisey was our lone senior. The team returned 4 starters off the 2006 team and welcomed in Rebecca and Allison. The team had a lot of success during the season, of course. Won 2 tournaments in the fall with Mason Rudolph, won the match play championship in Orlando, and went on to the spring and won 5 tournaments in the spring, including the ACC regional and national championship. Dan, what do you recall from the season and, coming off winning those 2 championships and how special this season could be and was?
Well, we had won a lot the year before, and so expectations were high, but they really moved the right direction toward the end of that year. I mean, I think we just went boom, 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 right? For the last 4 events.
Yes, that's correct.
Which were pretty big events. So that was great.
Anna, with you being the lone senior, what do you remember about your senior year and how special that was?
I just remember it was a very fun group. We had a lot of personalities, but we all got along really, really well. I really, that stands out to me. And then the other thing is, winning in 06 and 07, it wasn't so much pressure, but I just thought, like, this is the last sheet. Like, I have to go out on a high note. Like, we need to do this. Where, my freshman year, there was all this hype about this is the best team ever. And, we did dominate the year, but then we didn't win nationals. And it was just one of the worst letdowns. And I'm like, I can't, like, we've got to win this, So that was big because I just remember that feeling like we just felt so deflated and defeated after the freshman year, after all this hype and all this expectation. We won all year, and then all of a sudden, the biggest event of the year, we couldn't close it. So it was just amazing to see. I felt like all of our games were very different as well, which was a good thing, because if you have different courses where long ball hitters good on this one, or if you're a little bit shorter, that's okay. You always had strengths on every course because we had such a variety of talent. But I just remember that I wanted to win it so bad so I could just leave with the best taste in my mouth possible.
Well, Dolph, what about you? I mean, you're coming off winning a couple of titles in a row. What did you feel about this team?
Yeah, I don't remember nearly as much as Anna does, but I do remember that when Anna got fired up, things happened. So, I mean, thank God she was the senior and not me. And we pulled it off.
What about you, Allison? You came in as a freshman and played, most every tournament and everything. What was your thoughts? What do you remember about this team?
I remember it taking a while to get used to playing stroke play in teams, because like back home we play a ton of team stuff. So in terms of team spirit and kind of changing from an individual sport to a team sport, that wasn't an issue. But all of our stuff is match play, and so you come in to this massive college system that was so foreign to you, and literally, like, the stroke play, the courses were longer, the pars were lower. That I was used to. So it was a big jump that first semester. And then you kind of work out what it feels like and what you actually need to do to win. And that's like, when I look back at Duke in general, that's what I learned through the team, is seeing what it took, seeing what kind of mentality the girls had, what kind of preparation they had. Because obviously, like, Amanda's sophomore season was unbelievable, in particular in the spring. And when you get to watch that, then you start to work it out yourself. But I just remember expecting to win. Like, we turned up in the spring and it was like, who's coming second? Like, and that was kind of the mentality I think that the team had. We built some incredible momentum. And like Anna said, the idea, she was an incredible leader for us, in the fact that, she's a great icebreaker. So whenever, we were getting a little bit intense, she'd kind of bring us back down or crack a joke at coach's expense, which we all love to do naturally and still love to do.
Sorry, coach. Sorry, not sorry.
That part I don't love, so come on.
But no, so I think, that, and she kept telling us to dot our I's and cross our T's because she'd lived through it. And so I think her constant kind of reminder not to let your guard down was really, really important, but really gentle at the same time.
You and Rebecca, what did you get a sense about this team and how well it got along? What's y'all's thoughts about that this team and that season?
Just as a junior player going into Duke, you know that there's certain standards. The people above you have certain records, and there's certain discipline that you're held to. And I wasn't sure that like I could ever get there, but then I think Anna, as a senior, she did a great job of knowing that I belonged. And then she did a great job of, because we're all very different characters, me, Alice, and Rebecca. We're like opposite ends, but she did a great job of just pushing us together and just breaking the ice, like Allison said. I don't regret anything. I had awesome 4 years. So I think we were just on and off. I think we were such a great team. We had so much fun.
Well, actually, I was thinking about it after I got the email and everything, and I was like, just everything just went through in my head, like freshman year, like everybody said so far, Anna, I've never met anyone like Anna, or as a matter of fact, anybody on the team before. It's like, it was my first time, and I'm just like, I've never met these kind of people before in my life. I guess I was really sheltered. But Anna was awesome. She really made sure that I was doing okay and I was breathing and surviving and keeping my head above water, but not just Anna, everybody, coach and both coaches, they made me feel home. They were constantly checking up on me. And if I was ever feeling homesick or anything like that, somebody was always making sure that I was okay, whether it was, my classmates, you or Al, Blue or Jenny or Dolph, whoever it was, they were always checking up on me. So I felt really comfortable as quickly as I could, right? Because like you, I'm also really shy and I get really awkward, but everybody made sure that, it wasn't too noticeable, luckily. So I just had like a really good group of people around me at all times. So I was very blessed.
Amanda and Jenny, you guys were coming off, of course, winning the championship before. What was the difference in this team as well? I mean, how did it compare to your previous ones, and what do you remember most?
Yeah, so different. I mean, so different. I feel like going from freshman year to sophomore year. First, like half the team was new. You have Allison coming from Australia, Rebecca, you. So I feel our team was so incredibly diverse with the 3 freshmen coming in. And like I think we talked about in our class with the 06 team, like, I think the big common thread for that team was like we all love to win. So, all of us wanted to practice, all of us wanted to win, all of us wanted to get better. In this group here, like everyone got along. And when I think of Anna as a leader, and just like everyone said, like I think the word that comes to mind with Anna's leadership is inclusivity. Like she made sure everyone was included, and whether it was like Friday night dinners or weekend events, like she really made sure that like everyone was really a part of the team, and I think that really went a long ways. And I just remember even like going through the postseason, like we had our team chemistry was so good, and I think even coach said that like the chemistry, like it was just like magical the way our team all rallied together. And I think that was one of the biggest differences really from freshman and sophomore year. And we did go from a team of 5 to a team of 7, and yes, it's 2 more people, but it's like from that small of a group, like that's a big difference, to go from 5 to 7. I don't know what that is like percentage wise. I'm not a math person, but that's a big change.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree with Jenny. The team was so different. We had our freshman year, it was much more competitive within the team. Like I kind of felt like we really wanted to beat each other a little bit, and that drove us. And it worked. Obviously, we won so many tournaments and we won nationals. Then we moved on to sophomore year, and the dynamic definitely did change where everyone really got along, but we were also able to push each other in a different way. And with the team dinners and with the team chemistry, we showed that we could win with both types of teams. You didn't have to just compete against each other to be successful, and you didn't have to always get along to be successful either, but both teams really worked. Now looking back, I mentioned this with the 2006 group. Looking back, I didn't realize what we had accomplished was so incredible. The things that we had done, having such a spotlight on us, having so much expectation, to be able to be that team with a target on your back and then go out and perform and win 4 tournaments in a row, win ACCs, win regionals, win nationals. Having spent now time with Golf Channel working during NCAAs, if I were to look at our team on paper and just look at us throughout the year, I'd be like, this is the best team I've ever seen. And the fact that they could repeat it, that is absolutely phenomenal. But when you're in that moment, like we would just be like, yeah, we're going to win. Absolutely. Like that's what's expected. And not until, 10 plus years later can I really appreciate what we did was so phenomenal.
Caitlin, what do you remember about this team and how successful it was, especially that spring campaign, winning all those tournaments?
The spring definitely stood out. I mean, winning, it was 4 events in a row, and what Amanda won almost every single one of them, was just incredible. And just just that momentum we had was just incredible. I mean, I haven't said this, I think, in the last one of these that we did, but I mean, now to look back and like Amanda was saying, now that she's involved with college golf and I'm, in coaching, to do that and to repeat 3 championships in a row, to go win 4 events in the spring, is just a remarkable performance. It's something that almost is just not done now. And it's, it's something to be really proud of.
One thing that I'll never forget is the regional at Baton Rouge. Team shot 16 under, won by 2 strokes, came back to beat UCLA. Amanda shot 63. That was just a remarkable display of golf by everybody. What do you remember about that round? And then everybody else can chime in afterwards as well.
It was one of those rounds where everything just kind of went right. That doesn't happen that often, where I just remember I didn't get in any trouble. And I had 1 bogey, but it stopped the bleeding. It was a good bogey, if there is one. And then I just didn't get into any trouble. I just remember making some great putts and just everything was really flowing. I also remember, though, the rounds leading up to that, I couldn't believe how low everybody was shooting. And we were playing well. I mean, we might have even been a couple under, and we were outside of making it to nationals, which was unbelievable. We were playing good golf, but everyone was just shooting such low numbers. And then going into the last day, we really needed to turn it around, and we all played well. And I just remember playing such great golf. And then after that, thinking back on that round, being like, okay, what can I channel Baton Rouge 2007, play that golf again, because it was fun.
Yeah, I just remember the great come from behind. Coach was a little more nervous than he probably let on. He was like, what?
Well, hey,
It's not that fun of a week for coaches.
No, and you have a team, you have a course where everybody's shooting low.
It doesn't separate.
And it doesn't separate anybody. We're definitely a really good team that needs to go to nationals, but we're on a course that's not separating. And,
you guys were champs. We believed in you, and you guys did your thing. So it was awesome. That's what I remember.
Yep. It wasn't like we were dominating everybody, and we had that regionals thing, and we were down a little bit at nationals early, right? And we weren't
5th after day 1, but then shot 1 under 282 and led by 7 strokes after 36 holes at nationals, and then led the rest of the way, won by 15 strokes over Purdue.
Yeah.
Yep. What did y'all like that Daytona course? I mean, I think a lot of you have had experience playing there previously at
Great
LPGA
course.
International and stuff. What was y'all's thoughts about nationals? What did you remember about it? How was it kind of refreshing that you kind of got that lead after day 2 and it kind of cruised the rest of the way? What was it like?
It's well then Q School's there as well. So I know Jenny and I, we played that a bunch. It felt just back to back to back. And it's a tough course because there's a lot of water. And if you're not hitting it straight off the tee, it's easy to get into trouble. And so I remember that well, that you had to be smart. You had to be smart off the tee, and also the different type of grass, and also the weather. The weather played a big part of it. The afternoons got extremely windy. Storms could come in, and so you really had to make most of your draw. When you had the morning tee times, we just knew that that's the round that we all had to play really well, because the afternoons, the scores were going to be so much higher. And then when it was our turn to play in the afternoon, it was just going to be much more difficult.
I think either a couple weeks or a little bit before nationals, we ended up just knowing that we're going to play on Bermuda and like different grass. I think we had taken a trip down to Florida State, right, to Tallahassee, just to get practice in. And I think that was incredibly a week well spent down there, just spending time down there, practicing on different grass, and then really just taking time away from campus and just being able to practice. And I think that was really a great preparation for nationals. And then I do remember after, I think it was like right the last day, as we were sitting in our van, just getting ready to get out there, I remember Coach telling us, like, hey, if he was not a Duke golf coach, if he was not our coach, but he just looked at all of the teams, he said, if I had to pick one team that would win this tournament, it would be you guys. And so I think I just remember having that chat in the van and just giving us a real sense of confidence to say, like, hey, like, I know there's a lot of teams. I actually didn't remember that we were leading after day 3, but just there are lots of teams out there, lots of really good players, but, just giving us a confidence that we can get the job done by day 4 was, I think, really great for us. I remember that really well.
Anna and Dolph, you two concluded your career with 3 NCAA titles. What back at that now and think about what you guys accomplished, and the rest of you winning multiple and some, one championship, but how proud of you of that? What is that like?
When you're in the moment and you're just part of such a winning team, it's the expectation. And it took me years to appreciate what we accomplished. Like, when you're in the moment, it's what you expect to do. And then, you graduate, you go, I went to Q School. Like, it was just, I was on to the next thing. And you really, I didn't realize it for years. I was so glad to leave on a winning note, but I didn't realize how special it was until way after the fact.